operational targets. Operations. This is the functional area which is typically responsible for the actual production and delivery of the product. Typically you'll see this on TV as like a factory, but this could also be in a service, so these could be people on the shop floor who actually deliver the product or service that you expect to see. So with an operation, tend to set typical targets. Targets could include things such as reducing the unit costs, or it could be about increasing the quality. It could even be about improving the efficiency, reducing waste, or improving your capacity utilization. Now all of these in theory should increase the profit margins of the organisation and make them more competitive. Because of this, this will start to please the financial functional area, who probably have got similar targets such as reducing costs overall for the organisation. So by doing all of these, it should improve the overall profitability, competitiveness and efficiency of the organisation. So it's quite critical to the overall objectives of the organisation. However, we need to consider the drawbacks of actually doing those operational targets you set a minute ago. For example, if we look to get a cheaper supplier, are we going to reduce the quality and then damage our own brand name of the company? This could lose us more customers in the long run and actually cost us some added value that we've achieved through our brand name. If we're going to increase our capacity utilization or reduce our unit costs, we may need to invest in capital intensive production. What this means is investing in machinery. Now the problem with that is it's expensive in the short term. We may need to take out a loan, and because we've got to borrow some money, that's going to increase our costs. Okay, in the long term it'll pay back, but have we got that money in the short term to be able to use it to improve our performance? And of course we may lose a good relationship we've got with our suppliers. Let's say we're using a just-in-time policy, so we're using JIT. We may have built up a great relationship with our supplier who prioritises ourselves. However, because we're going to look to use a cheaper supplier, we may lose that relationship and that may cost the organisation. We've got to consider these factors. Just because we may be paying a little bit more, we may in the long term damage our brand and our reputation. Okay, you need to be able to calculate for the exam unit costs. And you've got to learn this formula. The unit cost actually tells you how much it costs to make each item. And it's a really simple formula. It's basically the total cost of production divided by the number of units you produce, your output, in other words, your units. And it tells you how much you make each item for. Very simple. If it comes with an exam, do it straight away. And hopefully you've got enough brain cells, I'm assuming, straight away. You know, that's a big assumption, but, you know, let's be honest, I think everybody in the world can do this. The lower the unit cost, the better the organisation is performing. Now, you may get asked something about non-standard orders. Now, this is when the organisation might get a request for something which is a little bit different, a special request, a special order. Now, you may need to make a decision about whether the organisation should accept a non-standard order or not. If this is the case, you need to consider the following elements and decisions. So when thinking about a non-standard order, you need to consider some of the following factors, such as what are the existing skills of the workforce? Will they need retraining? If they do, it could be expensive, and have you got the time to retrain them to the required level to take on that order? What's your existing capacity utilisation? If you're working close to your maximum, then you may need to start thinking about offering overtime, for example. Now, offering overtime is great in the short term for employees to get more money. However, in the long term, they may become tired. They may feel that they're becoming demotivated because they've been overworked, and they may feel the pressure to work. You could look to temporary employees, so going to an agency. Of course, the problem with going to an agency is that typically agency staff are expensive. So you're taking on expensive staff, which then may reduce your profit margins. However, they can cover a short period, but if they need to be trained and skilled, then will they be able to do this? And will they even have the motivation to be there? Most temporary workers are there just purely for the money. They're not there for anything else because they know their job won't be there in the future. You could look at part-time employees. However, again, have you got them? Do you need to recruit them? Well, you have to go through the recruitment process, which is expensive. So could you get them in time for the order to be delivered? Or you could look at subcontracting, which many organisations do. This is where you would give the order out to another manufacturer. However, again, you need to consider things like protectionism. Is the idea protected? Could they take on your order now and then in the future try and compete against you for that? Or have they got the skills to deliver this? Because if you've been selected for this non-standard order, have you been selected because you are so unique and so good at delivering this? Also, you've got to consider your existing production methods. So are you capital intensive or labour intensive? There may be a reason why you've been selected for this organisation. If you're a labour intensive production method, then maybe you'll be selected because that's your unique selling point. And if you move to capital intensive to increase your production capacity, you could actually lose you in the long run. And of course, capital intensive production, do you need to buy new machinery, which again will be vastly expensive? Have you got that capital to be able to do that? That's it. You should now be aware of the different operational targets and decisions that an organisation may have to set. You should be able to calculate unit costs and show the different considerations that need to be shown when taking on a special order. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can also tweet me any areas of business that you want me to cover in the future.